The Big Ten and the Pac-12 have called off their non-conference games for the 2020 season. But the other three power conferences, the SEC, ACC, and Big 12, have yet to announce any kind of plans like that. And while they definitely could still go to a conference-only schedule for this season, they could work together and figure out a way to have some kind of conference tie-in between the three for this season. Thank you for clicking on this video. You're a good sport. This is College Football Media, and we talk about teams, trends, and traditions all the way to logos, history, and predictions. If that sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing for in-depth college football content. There are so many unknowns when it comes to the upcoming college football season, but we as fans want to salvage anything that we can. And so because the SEC, the ACC, and Big 12 have yet to announce any kind of conference-only plans, they could figure out something to do, and that's exactly what we're talking about in this video. The best place to start is with the 4-game SEC-ACC challenge that we see at the end of every football season on a normal basis. It's the in-state rivalry games of Florida State, Georgia Tech, Clemson, South Carolina, and Kentucky and Louisville. Those are historic rivalry games that we see annually, but they have been put in jeopardy because of everything going on right now. If these conferences can figure out a way to at least let those in-state rivalries continue for this season, that would be a blessing in and of itself. And if that happens, then it's pretty easy to schedule those normal rivalry games. And that leaves 10 other teams in the SEC and 10 other teams in the ACC. So we could take out a common practice that we see in college basketball, the conference challenges. In football, we could have a SEC-ACC challenge, where all 14 teams decide to play each other, and the conferences decide and schedule which teams will play who, and they have a 1-game challenge, all on the same weekend. Or we could see something very similar between the SEC and the Big 12. Again, if only the 4 teams are allowed to play the rivalry games from the SEC and ACC that I just talked about, that leaves 10 other teams in the Southeastern Conference to go out and play the Big 12 teams. That could work just as easily, and you could see some old rivalries renewed, such as Texas and Texas A&M, and Missouri and Kansas. Also, not to mention some very high-profile games that could be created, such as Oklahoma and Alabama. The main reason I could see this happening would be because the ACC geographically is so far different when it comes to the northern schools. There are several teams located in and around the Midwest and close to New York, which could be on more of a strict lockdown than, say, some of the southern states when it gets to the fall. And that would be the main circumstance that I could see creating some kind of hybrid between those 4 teams in the South, between the Southeastern Conference and the ACC, and then also the other 10 teams with the Big 12. But if that is not a problem with the northern part of the ACC, then you could perhaps combine all 3 conferences and have those 4 teams, again, that we talked about earlier, and that leaves 30 other teams remaining. And so it shouldn't be too hard to schedule a mix of those 30 teams to create 15 very meaningful games. There definitely are still options for these conferences when it comes to scheduling for this quickly changing and evolving season. The easiest thing would be those conference challenges between 2 conferences on a 1-weekend show, or you could see a hybrid of all 3, or perhaps maybe you can work out where you have multiple games between each and every conference over a course of 2 weekends or perhaps 3 weekends. We would just have to wait and see. And you could keep in mind that the Big 12 already has to play a 9-game round-robin schedule, whereas they couldn't draw out their conference schedule perhaps like the SEC and the ACC could. Several things to consider, of course, a lot of moving parts. But like I said, there are still options, and that is a great thing to see as of now in July for the upcoming college football season. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you like the idea? Which conferences would you want to see play each other? And even which specific teams would you love to see matched up against one another? Old, renewed rivalries. Let me know anything in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching this video. You can check me out on social media or watch some other videos right over there. So thank you for watching College Football Media. Hit the like button if you liked it, and consider subscribing for in-depth college football content. That's all for me. Until next time, be goody now.